Hey everyone! In this series of tutorials we are going to learn how to model any type of tensile structures using Kangaroo in Grasshopper. This tutorial requires a basic knowledge about Rhino, so if you are a beginner I would recommend you to check my Rhino beginner course for Architect. You can find it in my YouTube channel page in playlist, which is this one, and I will add the link in the description below. Now you can support the channel and download all the source files from the Patreon page. I'm going to leave the link in the description below. So, to model any type of tensile structure, there are three main steps that we always have to go through. Step number one is creating the mesh that we are going to use for the simulation. Step number two is selecting the right vertices and edges that are going to be used in the simulation. Step number three is using the right components from the Kangaroo plugin for the simulation. So, without further ado, let's start. So the first example that we are going to model is a simple tensile structure with just anchor point. So I'm going to select the default layer and I'm going to go to the perspective view and model a rectangle. We're going to use this rectangle to create our mesh. So I'm going to open Grasshopper, so you can type Grasshopper. So to import this curve inside Grasshopper, I'm going to use curve component. So double click to bring the search bar and type curve. Since selected, and right click, selected, right click and set one curve and select our curve. So now we have our curves, but I want to convert this into a mesh. So I'm going to convert it first into a surface. So double click and type surface. So now we want to divide this surface to have more faces to be able to create more accurate simulation. So I'm going to use quad paneling in Lunchbox plugin. We have these quad panels. I'm going to use it. So now we have panel. By default it is the U and V divisions are 10. We can double click and type 0 and greater than maybe 30 and set the value to double click, set the value to 10, connect it here, and let's name this number of faces. It's actually not the number of faces, it is the number of divisions, because it is like 10 by 10. So, but this is still a NURB surface. We want now to convert it into a mesh. So I'm going to use simple mesh component. So now this is a mesh, but we still want to clean it. So we can come here in Kangaroo 2. There is a component named combine and clean. So combine and merge. So merge all these faces and clean it. And let's hide this. So select all of this and click on the mouse middle button and hide. So now we have our mesh. This is our curve. And let's select all of this and press Ctrl G to place them into one group. And let's name this group creating mesh. So let's try to make the script a little bit more complicated to be able to create more variations. So I'm going to create a copy of this. So type mirror in Rhino and choose click in the copy to make copy yes. And let's create a copy. Press F8 opens also and create maybe a copy here. Select these two curves and let's come here and right click and set multi curves. So now we have like two faces. As you can see here, the output is going to be still two meshes, but we want to join these two meshes into one mesh. So here we need to come here, right click and choose flatten. So now it will join all of them. So we can right click, if we pick it, as you can see we have one mesh. Also we want to make sure that all of them, all the faces are on the same direction. So if we came here, select this one and let's come in the preview, and for the object setting color back face, let's give it any color. You will see that the faces are not unified. So there is another component called unify mesh. Let's type unify mesh. This unify all the direction of the faces to have the same direction. So if we add here, if I pick this one and place it here, as you can see, all the faces have the same direction. Let's select this one and right click here and add it to the group. So now we managed to create our mesh from just these two curves. Let's just show the mesh. Now we want to select only the exterior, only these points, to be able to use it for the anchor points. So to select these points, there are two options. If you want just to select just the exterior points, there are a component here called mesh corners. We can add it here. It will allow us to have these 4 corners. But what if we want to select also this point? So I'm not going to extract the points from the mesh. I'm going to extract the point from the curve. So I'm going to type exclude. To this component, exclude this polyline into segment and vertices. So now we have all these vertices, but as you can see, there are some overlapping here. So this point will be like, we will have 2 points here. So based on this shape, we only want 6 points, but as you can see, we have 10 points. So I'm going to use, there is a component here, which is remove duplicate points. I'm going to use it, and I will need to flatten also the points here, because we have like 2 lists, since we have like 2 shapes, and each shape has been excluded, so we have like 2 lists for each, 1 list for each shape, but we want to like to unify all of them. So I'm going to come here, right click and flatten everything. So now as you can see, we have just 6 points. So let's group this one, let's give it maybe a different color, and let's name it selecting vertices. So now let's start using the simulation. This is like the 3rd part. So we will use this solver, and we will use at the bottom for the reset. And now we need to set our goals. So basically, to create any type of tensile structure, there are some fixed goals that we usually use. The first one is the length. We use this component to give this mesh some kind of fabric behavior, to be able to stretch or shrink. So, and the input here is line. So to extract the lines from the mesh, we will need to use a component called mesh edges. This one allows us to select the naked edges. The naked edges are the edges along the circumference of the shape, and the interior edges are all these interior edges. I will show you now. So if we import the mesh here, and let's type curves maybe. So as you can see here, these are just the exterior edges, and the interior are just the interior edges. And we will need to use both of them. So I'm going to come here and Control C, Control V. By the way, this one need to come here in this step, which is selecting vertices and edges. This is like step 2. So yeah, we will import the naked edges here and the interior edges here. We can control the length and strength, but let's keep them for the default values for now, to be able to show you the changes that we can make. So this is like our first goal, and the second thing is the anchor points. We are going to use this unique points for the anchor points. So we can come here in the goals for points, and as you can see here, the anchor points. So the inputs of the anchor points are also 3. Number 1 is the point, and number 2 is the target. If we, as you can see here, if we left the target empty, the initial location will be used, which is this one. And we want this. We will use the initial point is going to be the same as the target point. So that's it. This is our goals. I'm going to come here and use this hold shift to be able to place more than one target. And Okay, as you can see, nothing has changed yet. Select all the curves and press F10 to open the control points. And now select maybe this point, move it up like this. And now let's reset our shape. As you can see, we're starting to have, we didn't have nothing actually. So, but everything is right, but we need to adjust the parameters. So for the length, for the interior edges, I'm going to add a value from 0 to 1. So here, right now it is straight because here the value is, we didn't add any value here. And if none provided, a straight line will be used. So Kangaroo just use a straight line here. But if we add a value of 0, as you can see, we have this kind of, let's hide all of this. We have this weird shape. So still we need to adjust the parameters a little bit more. If we increase this value, as you can see, the curvature, the length of the edges will increase. If we decrease it, the length of the edges will decrease. But as you can see, now we have just wires. We don't have the mesh. So to have the mesh, we will need to use show component, and we will insert only the mesh. And let's hold shift and add it to the goals. So now we have our mesh. So we added this slider here, and let's add another slider, but from maybe 0 to 100. We are going to use this one for the strength. Let's set the strength maybe to 10 here. And let's select these two sliders, Control C, Control V, and place this one here and this one here. So this one controls, since we imported to it the naked edges, it controls like these outer edges. So if we start maybe moving this like this, also increasing the length, make it follow these edges more. It like controls this curvature here. So we are almost done, but I will show you that just how we can create tons of variations using these techniques. So let's add this, rename all these inputs so we don't get confused while using this parameter. So I'm going also to come here and let's align all of this like this and align this component. Let's group all of this and let's give it maybe another color. And for this one, let's come here and name it simulation. So these are like the final step, and we can keep playing around this, but we will need to like press reset to update our shape. Or instead of pressing reset every time, we can use like the zombie solver. So the zombie solver, instead of creating the calculations like live, as you can see here, it just calculates the calculation and then gets the output. It keeps all the iterations internal. So we can hold the control shift to remove all of this and place it here. Let's keep this for now. So now if I start doing any adjustment here, maybe moving this point like this, as you can see, everything will update. I think I'm going to disable this one. Okay, so oh yeah, for the output I want to hide this point. So as you can see, we have here a list that contains mesh, lines, and vertices. I want to select only the mesh, so I'm going to use list item. The mesh is the first one, so its index is 0, so I'm going to place it, and by default the index is 0. Let's hide this one, so we have our mesh here. So yeah, that's it for this simple type of fabric structure. But I'm going to speed this part up, but I'm going to play around with the inputs, the shape of the curves, and also the number of, so for example, if I came here If I want to add more control points, I can select all of these, type mirror, and set copy to yes, and create maybe a mirror here. And we can select all of these curves, and let's come here and choose set multi curves. So I have like now more complicated structure, and I can keep playing around, moving like this edges and so on. Of course, since these are going to be an anchor point, so we will need to create maybe a structure here, whatever is whether it's going to be a column or a beam or whatever. But we need to create some kind of physical structure that's going to hold this fabric from these anchor points. So yeah, it's actually pretty simple. You can create like extremely complicated shapes now. And we can control here the curvature. This one. Oh, okay, yeah, let's rename this parameter. So this lens for interior edges, and this one lens for interior edges. Aim here, Control C, Control B, lens. This is going to be the lens for naked edges. Right click, Control C, right click, Control B, strength for naked edges. So we have all of our parameters. And for the anchor points, we are going to keep it as it is. And when we are done, we can come here, right click, and pick our geometry, place it on whatever layer, and here you go. Okay, so now that we finished the script, let's see how can we use it to generate different variations. So first I want to organize the script, so I'm going to select all of this and let's remove them from the group. I want to keep all the inputs together. So by the way, we can use this one to like increase the number of faces, but let's keep it 10 for now. So here are our input. Move the script here and let's save it. So I'm going to create like maybe more rectangles. So let's create maybe something like this. Type mirror, the mirror here, another copy here, another copy. Select all of this, right click to bring the command again, create a mirror here. For this one, I'm going to scale them a little bit, so use the scale in one direction, and maybe another mirror, but here at the midpoint. So now select all of this, came here and type set one, oh sorry, right click and choose set multiple, select all of this. So we have our shape. Now we can start modifying the shape. Select all the curves and press F10 to open the control point. We can maybe move this up maybe by a value of 15 to have maybe something like this, and maybe moving, select this, hold shift to select this also, and move this up, maybe moving this central part a little bit more, a meter more, to have like maybe something like this. Selecting all of this and scale it. So yeah, as you can see, we managed to create like this very complicated surface in literally no time. I want to break the symmetry a little bit, so I think I will move this maybe more here, and maybe increasing the height of this part. I want to break the symmetry here too, so I think I will move this. But I think all of this need to be scaled a little bit. So yeah, this looks okay. I think I'm going to move these points a little bit. And yeah, you get the idea. And when we finally finish our adjustment, we can came here, right click and pick it and close it maybe in any group, in any layer I mean, and save it. And okay, so now I want to show you how to test some variations using this script. So I have all of these curves that I already drew in Rhino. So for example, if I have something like this, I can come here and set multiple, can select all of these curves and then right click, and we'll have our mesh. However, as you can see, we have anchor points in all of these corners. But what if I want only the anchor points to be in this, like in this red point? So if we want to do so, we can replace this part by maybe double click and type point. And we can come here, right click and set multi-points and select all of these points. And now I'm going to use the points that I'm going to use in anchor points are going to be these points, not going to be, I'm not going to extract like the vertices of these polylines. I'm going to use a specific point that I just placed. So as you can see, if I place this like this, we like have our shape. I didn't select this point, this is why it is, the curvature is like this. So we can come here, set multi points again and select all of these points. As you can see, we have like our mesh with a specific points. So like now you have like two techniques. We can use this to extract like this vertices, or you can add a specific points and add it like this. And of course, when you are done, you can come here and pick it. And for something like this, for the remaining this structure, so I'm going to use this method. So I'm going to place this like this, and I will come here, set multi curves and set all of these curves. We'll have our structure, and I'm going to pick it. You can come here and click on the mouse middle button and pick it, and the same thing for the remaining. You can come here, set multi curves. See, like we are generating like very complex surfaces in literally no time. Come here, click on the mouse middle button and click here again, set one, set this one, click on the mouse middle button and pick it. And for the structure, you can just like I modeled using by drawing these curves, and then I use the pipe command. Can like come here and type pipe and type the radius maybe 0.1 and press enter to have like the structure. You can watch the Rhino beginner course for architect if you want to learn the basics of Rhino to model this simple structure. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you later.